Divorce is on the rise in Saudi Arabia after the quarantine uncovers many polygamous husbands. And Looney Tunes cartoons gets rid of the guns for its modern relaunch, but dynamite and swords are still allowed. Don't make homemade license plates while the DMV is closed is also the final story on today's Weird AF News for Monday. This is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian. I'm your host, Jonesy, as I pound my chest. Oh, can you hear it? Yeah, leading you out of the weekend into the beginning of a week with some weird stories from around the world. I hope you're okay with that. That's good. Let's do it.
You're listening to Weird AF News with your host, Jonesy. So listen up.
Divorces are on the rise in Saudi Arabia after the quarantine uncovers many polygamous husbands. Divorces in Saudi Arabia have risen by 30% after the quarantine during the coronavirus pandemic caused many wives to discover that their husbands had other wives and, in some cases, other families. Oh my goodness, that's just bad news. It's bad enough you're living in a pandemic and then you discover that your husband has 6 kids with someone else, maybe 2 other people. You have 7, 8 kids with 2 other ladies? Rough stuff here. It was hair-raising in general when the number of divorces during the month of February took a big jump, about 7,500. That's a 30% increase in the requests for divorces and what's called Khula, Khula, which is the Islamic process in which a woman can divorce her husband. It was also noted that the majority of the women who requested divorces from their polygamous husbands were employees, businesswomen, prominent women in the community, and female doctors, aka Miss Independent. You go, girl! Over in Islam, those Islamic countries. Yeah, I love to see women take the power back, you know? Traditionally, these cultures just treat their women like shit. And so I love it. I love it. If your husband has 8 wives and 27 children, yeah, divorce his ass. Please, please. Polygamy, unfortunately, is a thing over there. Polygamy is the practice of taking more than one wife. It's legal in the religion of Islam, which is really stupid. And its legal status differs between Muslim-majority countries. While it is legal in the Gulf Arab states, it is illegal in other countries, such as Turkey and Tunisia. It should be illegal across the board, in my opinion. This is ridiculous. The practice has been subject to debate and labeled as a women's rights issue. You know what's sad about that is that the practice is subject to debate. How? How is that a debate? You can have more than one wife, you nut. Please. Hey, women, I feel so bad for women that were, born in an Islamic nation. Like, it's just a shame. Ladies, come to America, please. We'll take you. We'll totally take. Are you a doctor? Lady doctors, please, come on over. Please. We open our arms to you, okay? Well, I tell you, the quarantine is uncovering so many things. And divorces are up because you're stuck with somebody, you quarantine with somebody that you... All those little things that you never said to them are now being said. You're like, you know what? I just got to tell you something. I've always wanted to tell you. I hate the way you eat Rice Krispies. It's just deplorable behavior. I can't sit here and watch you eat cereal anymore. No, it's not happening, Catherine. What happened, Catherine? Oh, he divorced me over the way I eat cereal. It's ridiculous. I blame it on the quarantine. Shit. Well, a lot of us are forced to spend alone time with somebody that maybe we haven't spent a lot of alone time with. Some of those behaviors are coming out that we've never seen before, Well, I didn't know you were into that. Yeah, I do this. I'm into it, okay? We just never spent this much time together, Larry, so you never saw what I'm into, okay? Yeah, I'm into yodeling, okay? I'm taking some yodeling lessons over Zoom. Deal with it, Larry! Looney Tunes is going to be reissued on HBO, those cartoons. But there's going to be no more guns allowed. But still, dynamite and swords are okay. There might be swords and explosives, but characters in the latest series of Looney Tunes cartoons have been banned from using guns. New episodes of this classic cartoon have been released for the launch of the HBO Max streaming service in the United States, hoping to introduce an entire new generation of fans to the adventures of Bugs Bunny and friends. Well, I think you should just play the classic Bugs Bunny and Friends. They're great, man. I grew up with those cartoons, and they are so good. So well written, so well animated. The music is fantastic. The storylines are just wonderful. Bugs Bunny and Pals as a classic cartoon. I mean, can you get any better than that? Really? Not, in my opinion. Well, this article says one staple of the original cartoon, which dates back to the 30s, was Bugs Bunny being hunted down by his nemesis, Elmer Fudd, who regularly chased him with shotguns and rifles. Yeah, that's right. Because Elmer Fudd was a guy that was hunting rabbits, okay? That's what was going on. He's a hunter. You're going to take the guns out of his hand now? That's part of his character, dummies. He's not just willy-nilly trying to shoot anybody he comes across in his path. He's chasing a rabbit with a shotgun. He's a hunter. He's hunting rabbits. What are you talking about? But apparently, in response to continued incidents of gun violence in the United States, the animators of this cartoon have decided not to equip the characters with firearms in the new incarnation of the Bugs Bunny and Friends show. Executive producer Peter Braungart told the New York Times the show would still employ cartoony violence, quote unquote, including the use of dynamite, but we're not doing guns anymore. Oh, that's not hypocritical at all, you know? Peter Braungart. Yeah, we're gonna blow up people, but no more pistols and such things. That's just crossing the line. We're gonna use swords, scythes, and explosives, but no more guns because we don't want the kids to think that there's violence in this world. Stupid. This guy, Peter, said that the move was part of a bid to modernize the cartoon, adding that, quote, "We're going through this wave of anti-bullying, Everyone needs to be friends. Everyone needs to get along." Well, then you don't know anything about storytelling, sir. Because, yeah. Bugs Bunny was a rabbit living in the forest. The rabbit had an enemy called a hunter, a rabbit hunter. Yes, that's right. That's how storytelling works, okay? You have a main character and then you have an enemy. You have an obstacle. You have somebody trying to take down the main characters, somebody who's putting obstacles in their place. That's the hunter. That's what's going on here. You're going to put Elmer Fudd in there with what? Huh? What are you going to equip him with? Okay? I don't love, you know what? I mean, I want everybody to get along in real life, but in the world of entertainment and fiction, there's nothing wrong with people not being friends, okay? That creates conflict. Do you not know anything about creating a story, you dumbass? Conflict is what's fascinating to watch. It's no mystery why crime shows are the number one watched shows on television, you dumbass. It's because of conflict. Now, I'm not a big fan of crime shows. I'm a little tired of seeing guns wielded on every network television show. Really, and as an actor myself, I've been tired of it. Every time I audition for a TV show, hardly ever is it comedy. I'm always playing some character being questioned by the cops or a gun is being pulled on me. It's always violent television. I love how all of a sudden we're like, you know what? We're going to just take the violence. There's just too much bullying and everyone needs to be friends. Really? Why don't you turn on Netflix? Why don't you see what the majority of the shows are on Netflix? Violence, man. Guns. Are you out of your mind? Whoo! The article says Looney Tunes is one of the many classic U.S. cartoons to have been updated to reflect modern sensibilities, with some shows having been littered with racial stereotypes and other offensive tropes when they originally aired. And that is very true. And I've seen some of those racially stereotypes and some of the racism for sure I've seen on some of those old school cartoons, and I'm totally for taking those out. But I mean, you don't got to change them so much. I mean, they're just wonderful pieces of classic entertainment, and they still hold up for the most part today. I mean, to take out some guns. I mean, what do you think is that's going to accomplish? I mean, really? If you're going to leave the dynamite in there, it doesn't accomplish very much now, does it? That's just my opinion. Call the show. Maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you have kids that you want to introduce some of these Looney Tunes cartoons to. Are you okay with the classics, or is it too violent for you? I'd love to hear from some parents. Call the show, 646-450-2012. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult? No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Do not make homemade license plates while the DMV is closed, the sheriff wants you to know. Who is making homemade license plates? I love this. It's North Plains, Oregon. Well, apparently, a driver in North Plains, Oregon was pulled over recently for what you might call a DIY DMV, a do-it-yourself DMV job. A Washington County Sheriff's Office deputy snapped some photos of the person's makeshift license plate. This is what it read. DMV closed. Yes. Oh, he made his own vanity plate. He made it out of wood, drew on it with paint. This is absolutely fabulous. I would so do something like this. DMV closed. There's your license plate, assholes. Under Oregon Governor Kate Brown's Stay Home, Save Lives executive order to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Check this out. Only 6 Oregon DMV offices are open in the entire state. How? That's a huge state. And they're only open by appointment only. Even in counties approved for phase 1 of reopening, DMV offices are still closed. How are they closed? I guarantee you go to some of these cities and it's like, the massage parlors are open. Nail salons open. DMV, closed. What the hell? One driver took matters into their own hands and crafted their own license plate in Oregon. I love it. I like when the citizens go, you know what? Screw you, government. I'm just going to do it on my own. Because you know what? The government is stupid and it lags behind everything. I mean, it's unbelievable how slow government gets things done. While the sheriff's office admits this driver got points for creativity, they ask others to please not do this on their own vehicles. Please don't make your own vanity license plates out of wood or plastic or a paper towel or anything else. Don't print it out on your printer in a laminate. No. The sheriff's office actually says it's okay to leave your expired license plate on the car until the DMV reopens. Well, that's so nice of you, Oregon Police Department. It's fascinating how many things are not open and how many local government rules have been switched up. For instance, for a little bit during the pandemic, street sweeping was totally not in operation in the county of LA, or the city of LA rather. And I didn't have to move my car from one side of the street to the other to make way for the street sweeping machine, which is really a pain in the ass, man. I got to get up certain mornings and move it to the other side of the street. It's just like a pain in the ass. And if I don't, I get a ticket that's like so much money. It's like $80, just out of control. In LA, the parking tickets are just so much money, man. You lose your home over a parking ticket. I'm telling you right now. It was like, I was going to pay the rent, but I got a parking ticket from LA for $75,000. So, yeah, that's what's happening. But yes, the government has been letting you off the hook for some of these things. But, the street sweeping thing is back on in LA, unfortunately. I don't know if the DMV offices are open or closed. I assume they are open. I don't know. But, honestly, there's really no reason to not be open if you're the DMV. I mean, hello. You look at the businesses that are open, it's just ridiculous. What is your excuse for not being open? I mean, at the end of the day, if parking enforcement is still on, then the DMV should be open. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm drunk. What do I know? If you like podcasts, check out Spotify. You can listen to all your favorite artists and podcasts in one place for free. You don't even need a premium account. Spotify has a huge selection of podcasts on every topic, including this one that you're listening to right now. And you can easily share what you're listening to with friends on Instagram as well. So download the Spotify app, search for your favorite podcast, and also make sure to follow Weird AF News and never miss an episode. Yes, download Spotify and make your life easier. Yay! Hey everybody, what's up? This is Jonesy operating on 3 margaritas. I hope you're having a good time. Oh, it's so nice to be recording Weird AF News for you following the weekend of madness. That was our lives, I'm sure. Hope you enjoyed the Florida Friday stories. A lot of people reached out to me. I even got a nice little review, and it has 5 stars, which are my favorite number of stars. It's from Rancorn. This is on iTunes. Hilarious! My husband and I love this podcast because Jonesy is hilarious. Weird news is usually interesting anyway, and Jonesy finds the best stories, then takes them to a new level with his comedic genius. Wow, I was called a comedic genius. Unbelievable. I'm getting a boner as I read this. Jonesy keeps promising that he's going to come hang out with all of his weirdos after the pandemic, and he's got at least 2 of us weirdos waiting to chill with him whenever he makes it to Michigan. Whoa, Michigan, slow down, Rancorn. Okay, that's a little far, all right? You going to pay for the gas? No, seriously, I should do a trip across the country. Oh man, I'd love to hang out with some of you weirdos. I'll just crash on your goddamn couch if you make me some chili and feed me some Corona. Smoke me up, get me all liquored up, and I'm on your couch for the night. How about that? We can share our life stories. I'll do bonus episodes on everybody's couch. How about that? That sounds good. That sounds great. I also got a new Patreon, and this guy, Eddie Ray, who just is unbelievable, man. This dude wrote me such a long, awesome email. I'm going to read some of it to you here. Here we go. Hey, Jonesy. Just wanted to give a shout out to the host of the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian and say that I finally joined the Patreon. I started listening to the podcast a while ago, and I thought, this is some good-ish right here. After about a few weeks in, you asked us if we were interested in Florida Fridays. I swear, I yelled yes so loud you heard me in Los Angeles, all the way from Jersey. Oh, my man, Eddie's from Jersey. Oh, I love Jersey. I love you, Eddie, from Jersey. He said, I'm a Florida survivor myself. It's so funny. The people from Florida, I'm a Florida survivor. Yes, you are. Yes, you definitely are, if you got the hell out. He said, I lived in Tampa for 11 years. I love your show and haven't missed an episode since I started listening. You're the last podcast I listen to every morning with my wake and bake. It's called Coffee and Weed. Oh, what a great way to start the day. Wake and bake with some weird AF news. Nice job, Eddie. He said, I love your humor, your opinions, which are usually but not always the same as mine. The singing is great, and I'm excited to have the alligators from Iowa City. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm excited to have the Alligators Everywhere song. And I love the accents that you do. By the way, you killed it on Thursday's episode. The Boston accent, love it. You even have the best fans call in. Michael, sorry for rambling, but I just thought you should be reminded how awesome you are. Michael from Iowa City, that's right. He said, not just with the show, but with who you are, man. You have a beautiful heart and soul, and it shines brightly through the show. Even the voices in my feet like you. Even the voices in my feet like you. Oh, that's fascinating. Thank you for doing what you do, and I look forward to many more laughs. Peace and love, my dude. Sincerely, Edward Ray Brewster from Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Wow, this is like one of the best emails I ever got, Eddie, man. You really touched me with this. God, I've had a few cocktails, and I'm just, I get emotional when I hear from people like this. This is just wonderful, man. To know that, like, I can make touch somebody's day, you know, make people laugh. It's just like such a great feeling. And it's why I do the podcast, you know, so, I'm so appreciative, Eddie. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. Joining the Patreon, and thank you for writing that note. It just really touched me. That just really made my night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eddie. You guys can join the Patreon too and send me an email if you want. My email, as everybody knows, is funnyjones@gmail.com. And the Patreon is patreon.com/weirdafnews. And you get, like Eddie was saying, you get the Alligators Everywhere song and some other things on there, so it's pretty cool. You can download my comedy album, which Ashley just downloaded. I got a message from Ashley. Hope you enjoy that comedy album, Ashley. I recorded it a year ago, and my comedy has evolved since then, but I can't really do anything about it right now because there's no comedy shows. I can't record a new thing. I want to record a new album, but I just can't get, there's no shows. It's just a pain in my ass. Anyways, enjoy that extra stuff, Eddie. Thanks for joining the Patreon. You guys can do it too. Patreon.com/weirdafnews. Support the show. Reach out to me on Instagram at funnyjones, on Twitter at funnyjones, and on Facebook it's comedian Jonesy. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Give me a call. I love you guys, really.
Well, there, Miss Maria Montanez Cologne. You don't have to go and bother the boys in blue to get someone to swing by. Well, hell, I'll give you my personal phone number. You just get in touch with Mr. Jonesy. He'll line that shit up for you. I apologize for my cussing there, Jonesy. I didn't mean to get out of line. I just get a little crazy sometimes when such a beautiful, beautiful flower, delicate flower as Miss Maria. Ooh, 58 years young. Don't you bother the fire department. Don't you bother them police. You just call your friendly neighborhood angry Florida man and he'll take care of you. Yes, indeed. Hey, Jonesy, come on now. Dr. Miami's just what you call an entrepreneurial spirit. Out there giving Botox in his garage, man. Hell, I've been giving liposuction at the drive-thru over at the Wendy's for about 6-7 years now. That's way before quarantine. I hook up the old Evan Rude to the Hoover. I ain't gonna get specific on my dimensions on how I do it, but I make a small 5, a small 10 every once in a while. You know what I'm saying, brother? You gotta keep it together. They call him Dr. Miami. I be the physician from Pinellas Park. I know that don't rhyme, but physician starts with a P, and when I thought of that, I thought it might have rhymed. Jonesy. Obviously, the naked man on the roof is what you call a committed sports entertainer. All right, being from the great state of Florida, there's a big wrestling culture, and pro wrestling's going back quite a few years. It's been every type of imaginable thing that's going on, and you have to find your niche. Now, I don't believe anyone's been a naked man faking to be on ecstasy who jumps off of buildings and chases people into their children's room and rubs their clothes on them until you stop them with a shotgun. But nevertheless, a committed sports entertainer.